Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jamie here at Hen and Chick Studio. And by now you figured out on Tuesdays, we have a very special episode each week of Take Home Tuesday at 2, just for you. Now, during this time, we like to inspire you with something that's simple, creative, ways to use your scraps up. And sometimes it involves sewing, sometimes it doesn't. But we want to inspire you in all things creative, not just with sewing, but maybe stitching, or even if you tuned in a few weeks ago, we had some fun in the kitchen with some snow and some different things like that. So we are so excited to continue to bring you this Take Home Tuesday. And you know what? I would love it. Today it's Heidi and I, once again, we flipped roles. Yesterday, if you watched us, I was behind the camera and she was on camera. So we're working together, and you let us know if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. We will get back to you as soon as we can. And as always, anytime you need any help, if you see something today that you're like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense, give us a call at the studio and we're more than happy to help you. And go ahead and share this, because it doesn't mean that you're a ornate quilter to be able to do these projects. That's exactly what we want. We want to inspire you with simple things that no matter the level you are, you can do. Okay. Now, if you hear some humming in the background, we do have some retreaters working up here today in our nest at Hen and Chick Studio. So they're working away. If you happen to hear the little sewing machines, maybe that will inspire you. Even if you have your sewing machine and you haven't got it out for a while, go ahead and get it out. Okay, so are we ready for our project today? All right, today we are going to do something that I actually thought was really super simple, and you're going to see a lot of the same steps or some similarities of many of our past projects. But the point of this also is you can see where you kind of just repeat the same things over and over, and you can create so many different ideas and projects from them. So today we're making something. Any coffee lovers out there? How many people, we get those little cardboard slips all the time and they're fine, but why not have something fun? So we're today using our scraps, and trust me, this is literally all made from scraps, to make a little coffee wrap. Okay, super simple, super fun. Now, this one, I'm going to tell you, if you can kind of see, I actually kind of fussy cut this one, and this fabric is something that will be coming out I believe March 1st in our new Stash Buster. This is some of the fabric that we used in that. You will want to tune in for that Stash Buster, because this fabric in itself is really cool. But you can see, just to give you an idea, I fussy cut this one, and we're going to go through the steps, but you can kind of see how you can use some maybe different fabrics that have some bigger prints on it, and fussy cut it. Fussy cut means that, if you don't know, fussy cut means that I kind of tried to center my pattern so it would show in the design when I sewed it. That's just fussy cut. I'm sorry if we say words that you don't understand or haven't been familiarized with. You will get it eventually. Okay, so we're going to be working on that today. I'm going to be using a few different products that maybe some of you know about and some of you don't. So bear with me as we talk about some things. So our first thing is, and this is a downloadable on our website, and we have several different ideas for you. So there's 6 different ideas we have for you. I did not make them all, but you can kind of get an idea here. Some other things I'm going to say before we actually get into it is, you'll notice some of it have words, and we've been noticing a trend where stitching, hand stitching, is coming back. And so we added some ideas for hand stitching, just a simple chain or running stitch, where you can add some words and personalize it. So we have, when you download this from our website, and it is under Take Home Tuesday, it'll be linked up under our Take Home Tuesday tab. It's also in our products. If you search coffee wrap, it will be in there too. But we have these different ideas, and some of them would involve, and we did this on purpose, some of them would involve more hand stitching ideas. So get that embroidery floss out, circa 1980 or whatever my box was from, dig it out and have some fun with it. Now this one, if you're familiar with anything around here, you might see why we love this pattern. It's Hen and Chicks, and this is actually taken directly from our Chick Chatter and our sweatshirt and t-shirt designs. So this one is fun, and I actually have one of those made. It involved a little bit of stitching. So the first thing I need to do is identify and find some scraps that I want to work with. And it was not a problem for me, probably won't be a problem for you. But even with the batting scraps, do you ever have that left? Like we finish a project and you have all those little pieces of batting. Those are perfect for table runners, but we're actually putting a little batting, layering it into this to give it a little coziness on the hot mug too. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pick out and trade or cut out one of the patterns. So this one just happens to be the Hoppy Easter one, but I have it cut out on this side. After I do that, I'm gonna pin it down to my fabrics. And so I need 2 cotton fabrics and 1 layer of batting. If you choose to put it in there, you can leave it out, or you can use 2, or you could use a different product between if you just wanted it. But we use scrap batting, literally pieces of scrap batting. And so then I'm gonna take my scissors, pin it down, and then just cut around the edges. So then I have my shapes left. Now, a couple things to think about here before you begin. If you want to do any embellishment, such as I did on, I'll show you. I was going to save it till the end, but I'll show you this one. Look at our little chicks for our Hen and Chick studio. That one I wanted to do a little embellishment. So I needed to do that before I sewed the layers together. So before I sewed the layers together, I needed to add my chicks and have those completed. Okay, so couple different ways to do this. I've talked a little bit about stitching. The chicks do have some stitched feet and a French knot for their eyes. But have you heard or ever used like the Wonder Under or that type of product where you simply just take a scrap of fabric, and what it does is it adheres the fabric, and then you'll peel off the backing after you cut out the shape that you want. So here's a shape I've cut out. And then I can come back in. I've ironed my fabric onto. So one side of it's sticky right now, one side of it's paper. I've ironed it on. I've cut my shape out. And now I simply have to go back in and peel that piece of paper off. Now this side is sticky. So when I take it and put it on my fabric, put it on the right side of my fabric, this one has some on it already. I'm going to show it to you. Some little hearts. When I put it on the fabric and I take my iron and press it down and just let it sit there, it will glue it onto that fabric. Now I could come back and stitch around it. I could do some hand stitching. I could do a blanket stitch on my sewing machine or a simple zigzag stitch on my sewing machine. These are all ideas that you can do to embellish it, or you don't even have to add anything. For instance, what I showed you earlier where I fussy cut, I didn't add a thing. Simply made it. Took me less than probably 10 minutes to make, okay? So any embellishment I have to have done now before I put my layers together. You can at this point add a button if you want, but I did that later. So then after I do that, I'm gonna layer my fabrics together with my 2 cotton fabrics, right sides together. So if you can see here, putting my right sides together and then the batting. So you're actually seeing 1 cotton fabric and the batting. Before I go any further with this, I also need to take my 2 inches of the elastic or whatever you have. And this is where a little trick. Before you start stitching, you want to layer this. I put it in a loop and I'm matching it up and sandwiching it between the cotton fabrics. Not the batting and the cotton, the 2 cotton fabrics, and lining up the edges together. So that way it's turned, when I turn it inside out, it's there. So hopefully you can kind of see where I'm sticking it in there. And I'm lining that edge up there, okay? And then I always like to pin that in place just to make sure that it stays secure. Here's the steps that you've seen us do so many times. What do you think I have to do next? Anybody got a guess? If you said I need to sew quarter, so on this one I've sewn, and you can see the contrasting stitch here probably a little bit better today. I've sewn a 1/4 inch away around, and I've left the opening so I can turn the right sides out right here. Okay, so pick my pattern, cut it out, pick my fabrics, layer 2 cottons together with a batting on the back side, stitch a 1/4 inch around, leaving it open at the bottom. So now as this Again, you can do what you want. On this one, I do kind of care because I like the corners to get a little bit more pointed. So I'm just going to come back in and angle cut the corners so you can kind of see where I've cut them off. Don't cut your seam because then you won't have a nice seam there, but I'm going to cut them off. And then I'm going to work on turning it inside out. Now, if you've done any apparel stitching, you'll know that going back to the 4-H days here, you can go and you can clip towards your seam because there is a little curve right here, and you can come in and do the little clip all the way along here. You can choose to do that or not on this. You aren't taking it to the fair to be judged probably. And most likely this is a gift or something that you can use. Wouldn't it be great to leave it in your car? I mean, if you're going to get coffee and take it someplace, why not have something fun, right? So now I'm going to turn it inside out. And this one is fun. I did do some applique on this one prior to stitching it and sewing it together. So here I'm coming back and I'm going to turn it inside out. So now that's why I leave that opening so I can turn it inside out. That's a song, I think. We were just saying today. If you haven't noticed, I like to sing. Might surprise some of you, but that's how it is. So now I'm turning it inside out. And wait till you see this one because I think this one's super cute and super happy. The hardest thing here literally is just getting the points turned. So I would take my scissors or a pencil, come back in here and turn. And did anybody catch a glimpse of what might be on the other side of this one? Because it's perfect for spring. And here's, if you notice, here's my tab that I've already put in there prior to sewing it down. So now I have my opening here. And I would, at this point, take my iron and press those in so that the fabrics are turned under. So now I have the smooth seam again, okay? And so now, can you see it? Isn't that happy? Da-da-da-da, spring. You know what? It is 40 degrees here today. And who knew? It's been what? Over a 70-degree change in temperature since last week. I almost wore a t-shirt that said girls just want to have sun because it's sunny out today finally and it seems so nice. Anyway, so now I have this. So now I'm going to go back over the top of it and do the same project or the same steps that we've done in so many. I'm going to do the 1/8 inch stitch all the way around the edge, which would catch my opening here at the bottom. And again, I'm going to give you that hint. Make sure that you do press this nice and firm. Get a good stitching surface there because right now it's not really smooth. Get a nice press on it so you can get a good stitch all the way around. So that little 1/8 inch all the way around. Now the last thing I need to add is a little button at the side. You could put a little button on before when you're doing the embellishing if you choose to embellish, but I simply just brought my threads up from the bottom and tied it in a knot. I didn't actually sew it on. Maybe you have other ideas of how you could put it together or some different things to do, which we would love to see and hear those too as well. The one thing I did mention to Heidi after I was doing this, which I didn't think about, so this is that one I go back to here and the backside was plain, but why couldn't you make it reversible? Put something on both sides of it. And then you could have something fun for the seasons or the holidays or a message on it. You know, we've talked before about sometimes people just need to know or have a little pick me up in their day or something a little special. Wouldn't it be super cute to put a little card, maybe for your teacher or a good friend, somebody that's done something nice for you, thanks a latte, and give them a cup, a little travel mug, or give them one of these and tuck it in the card with it that they could go get their, oops, wasn't rice this time, it was just a cup, that they could go and they could use this and leave it in their car. So we thought this was a super cute project. Of course, now I can come back and if it's in my car, I have it nice. And why not have fun? If you're going shopping with friends, you can make them for your friends and give them Easter, birthdays, super simple project. Literally all scraps, takes hardly any fabric at all. Any questions, Heidi? Anything that we need to work or worry about?
Talk about about YouTube.
Oh yes, don't forget too, we are also on YouTube and we're practicing today. You know, Heidi and I were like always trying stuff. we're practicing. We're actually going live on YouTube today as well as Facebook. So if you hop on over to YouTube and like us on YouTube as well, you will get a notification that when we go live on YouTube. So we're trying to see in balance, and the more likes that we get, obviously on YouTube, the more we are able to do, because that sometimes you're limited. We're learning a lot of this stuff. You're limited by the number of likes you have on YouTube. So go over there, share this. I would love if you would share this and help us get lots and lots of followers, because we have so many exciting things coming up in this studio. If you haven't checked us out, I'm just telling you, it is a perfect time. Get your friends to come in. We have Take Home Tuesday. We have a lot of free classes headed your way on Facebook Live that will also be recorded. Go sign up for them. I don't want to get into all that because you can go find out that information yourself. Go over and visit us at henandchickstudio.com. If you do have any questions, give us a call, send us an email. We're always here to help you. We're happy to pick up fabric. We get so excited. I'm not kidding you about picking out fabric. And we have so many fabrics. Anyway, obviously we could go on and on and on about all the fun things, but I'm going to stick our new one. Oh, one thing I should say is know which is the top and bottom of your fabric, what's going at the top, because you could accidentally do it the wrong way. So the longer side or the top of the curve is what goes up on your cup. I should mention that because you could accidentally maybe put it upside down if you have something that's important with a print or a pattern. So that was our Take Home Tuesday at 2. We have our little chicks that are happy to see you. Stop by, visit us on the website. All of this will be up there, henandchickstudio.com. And until next Tuesday, which is already March, we'll have our Stash Buster out. And we'll be looking forward to another great month with you. Share with a friend and have fun. And thanks a lot, Tay, for joining us today.